Hello and welcome to the Life is a Secret Yogi podcast. I'm your host, Austin Bitsis, and today's quick interactive practice is brought to you by Lexie Williamson, author and an authority teacher on yoga for endurance athletes, such as runners and cyclists. In the previous episode, Lexie and I took a deep dive into that specific topic of yoga for endurance athletes, which if you're an athlete or even a hobbyist runner or cyclist, you'll want to check out if you haven't already. We discuss both the physical and the mental side of the yoga for endurance athletes topic, and those tools we covered in that episode will not only be beneficial in taking your running or cycling to new levels, but spark ideas to make life beautiful across other disciplines as well. Lastly, if you're enjoying this show, please head over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now and leave us a raving, written review, and rating to keep this show going. Every review helps spread the message, and your feedback will most definitely be taken into account for future episodes. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And lastly, each week I send a thoughtful recap email. So if you want to hear about the latest and greatest happenings of the Secret Yogi Society, head over to www.secretyogisociety.com. Thanks so much for being awesome and for listening to this interactive practice. You'll really enjoy it. It's quick, effective, and enjoy the practice.
The 1 to 10 technique. Hello, my name is Lexie Williamson. I specialize in tailoring yoga techniques for runners and cyclists, and I'm the author of the books Yoga for Runners and Yoga for Cyclists, which are both published by Bloomsbury. I also teach anatomy and physiology to trainee yoga teachers on the British Wheel of Yoga Diploma, which is the main teacher training course here in the UK. I really like this yoga-inspired mental training technique I'm going to introduce you to today, as it's both simple, there's no yoga experience necessary, but it's also highly practical for endurance athletes. It's not a remote technique which must be done sitting quietly cross-legged, but is actually designed to be practiced while you're running, cycling, or swimming. This technique keeps the mind focused by keeping it occupied. It also steadies the nerves and is a pacing mechanism. If you're a triathlete, it can be used across all three sports to provide a thread which connects them all together. If you're a runner, just start counting as your foot touches the ground. Say 1 to yourself, and then repeat 1 as your left foot touches down. Now simply continue to count all the way up to 10, and begin again. Repeating the number on both sides ensures that you're not favouring one foot by starting to count on that side every time and potentially building up left-right foot imbalances. If you're running longer distances, feel free to increase your count to 20, 30 or 40. By focusing on the counting, you're keeping the mind engaged, preventing negative thoughts creeping in, such as "have I trained enough?" and keeping everything steady. The British marathon runner Paula Radcliffe has said, "When I count up to 100 3 times, it's a mile. It helps me focus on the moment and not think about how many miles I still have to go. I concentrate on breathing and striding, and I go within myself." The cycling version of this technique is very similar. Pick a foot to start, and as you push down into the pedal stroke, say 1. Repeat the same count on the left side and count all the way up. 10 will go pretty fast compared to running, so make the count longer. It's a good way of distracting the mind from pain, discomfort, and it also aids pedaling efficiency by ensuring that you're not favouring one leg, but are applying equal pressure to both. This counting technique can also be used in swimming. If you're a triathlete, the three sports can often seem at odds with each other. But this 1 to 10 technique can provide a unifying mental training way that links all three sports together. Good luck! If you try the technique, let me know how you get on by messaging me on Instagram at cyclist. Maybe you have a slightly different variation of counting that you already practice while you're running, cycling, or swimming. I'd just like to say thank you to Austin Secret Yogi for asking me to share a technique for this wonderful podcast. Happy running, cycling, and swimming.